I might as well tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not Flip Wilson. You know that? I might as well open up. Things had gone better than I expected. I was upstairs washing dishes, waiting for the cub to empty out so I could clean up down here. And the manager came up and said, Flip Wilson didn't show up. You're on next. So don't give me a hand when I'm finished. If you want to do me a favor, stack up some of these goddamn chairs. Pick up some of this paper laying around here on the floor. That'll be a big help. I don't know where this thing started, where people believe that entertainers have lots of girls. You know that? People imagine that we go from city to city, and wherever we're appearing, girls mob us, tear our clothes off, ravish us. When? When is the ravishing gonna start? I tear my own clothes off, honey. I'm not gonna hold up a ravish. Everybody needs a little ravish every now and then. Now, I admit you meet a lot of girls. You gotta be careful. Well, last year, I'm here in Chicago. One of the guys in the band says to me, last night at a show, said there's gonna be a party tonight after the show. You wanna go to the party? So I say, yeah. You can go to the party, get a cookie. So he says you have to bring your own date. Everyone has to bring their own date. I tell him, wow, I don't know if I can make it, because I didn't know any young ladies here in town. He said, look, I got a girl's name here in my address book. So her name is Lulu. She has her own car, sports car, white wall tires, stereo, stick shift, seat folds back into her bed. Said she'll pick you up, bring you to the party, and take you home. Said I'm pretty sure no one's asked Lulu. Thought runs through my mind. How come no one's asked Lulu? I say, how does she look? He said, wait till you see that car. White wall tires, stereo, stick shift. I said, but how does she look? He said, she'll pick you up, bring you to the party, and take you home. I said, I'm pretty sure no one's asked Lulu. I said, damn, nobody asked her twice. He said, do you want to go to the party or don't you? He gives me the number. I go to the phone. It's a 5-digit number. I go to the phone, dial 4 digits, and Lulu answers. She said, yeah, I'll go. We go to the party. We're in the party about 15 minutes, and the host comes over. He said, look, he said, I want to talk to you. Can you bring Lulu? You bring the girl that looks like someone hit her in the face with a bag of nickels? Get her out of my party. So she's been here 15 minutes, and she started 3 arguments. So I tell him, well, speak to those other people. Make them leave her alone, and she'll be all right. The guy said, I'm not speaking to anyone else. You're going to get her out of here. Said, she just smacked Sonny Liston. Said, Sonny's looking for the guy that brought her to the party. I said, damn, you tell her to meet me at the car. When Lulu arrives at the car, she wants me to drive. I can't drive. I've been drinking. I'm not going to get behind that wheel when I've been drinking. I know how I drive after I've had a few. I've already promised myself if I drive, I'm not riding in there. She's drunk, she can drive. So Lulu's driving. I notice she's holding the wheel with one hand, and on her lap is a small brown bag. There's an intersection, a red light. Lulu ran the light. Get it? She ran the light. Then she came back and got the car. She ran the light. The policeman saw us. He chases us, pulls over, he approaches the car. He's a perfect gentleman. He said, lady, you ran the light back at the intersection. But in this instance, I'm not going to give you a ticket. So I'm merely going to warn you and suggest that in the future, when you approach an intersection, that you'll exercise a little more caution. She said, I did what? She said, I ran what light? She said, I didn't run any damn light. This looks to me like police brutality. And I said, don't get upset, lady. Don't get upset. She said, what do you mean, don't get upset? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm driving along here drunk. So I'm on my way home from the party. And I said, but I'm not going to give you a ticket. It's only a warning. She turns to me. She said, will you hold this little brown bag? I said, would you like for me to talk to the man? She said, no. All I asked you to do was hold the bag. I said, I'll talk to the man. She said, I started this. I'll handle this. And she turns to the officer. She said, you can't give me a ticket for nothing. She said, that light didn't change until I was in the middle of the intersection. She said, I saw the light, and I saw you, and I saw you see me, and you saw me see you see me. And I didn't run any damn light. This is the same way that riot started in Los Angeles. You know, I realize how critical the situation's become. I know it's up to me to straighten it out. So I leaned over and I said, officer, she ran the light. So I realized there was a possibility of her running the light. And I tried to warn her. But before I'd gotten it out, she'd passed through the intersection. So I appreciate your stopping us, not giving us a ticket, leaving it at the warning stage, and she's sorry. She said, I'm what? What do you mean I'm sorry? She said, I started this argument with the officer. I don't need you to sit there and Ralph punch my argument. She said, I'll handle my problem. You got enough problems of your own. You're sitting there with a damn bag of marijuana on your lap. Oh, rough situation, rough situation. There's a meeting tomorrow night. Fun. I gotta say hello to my cousin upstairs in the kitchen. Yeah? I had an uncle who had a chance to be an entertainer. So he got a little nervous. Well, everyone should be nervous. He got a little more nervous than was necessary. Well, my uncle was around during the very great popularity of the radio programs. Remember those shadow programs? When the shadow was on? My uncle was janitor in a radio station that featured the shadow. And one Sunday evening, the fellow who did the opening intro to the shadow program didn't show up. And the station manager says to my uncle, he said, look, run down the script for us, will you? My uncle read it. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts and minds of men? The shadow knows. I said, great, run it again. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts and minds of men? The shadow knows. You were about to go on the air. I said, we're going on the air. Countdown. And I points to my uncle. Uncle said, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts and minds of men? The shadow do. Got a little more nervous than he should. Does anyone here owns one of those little foreign sports cars? Get rid of it. Those cars are dangerous. My buddy had one. What a situation. The first day he got it, he picked his girlfriend up, took her out for a ride on the expressway. Instead of using the rearview mirror, he was glancing back over his shoulder. Smash! Right in the wall. Terrible accident. The girl got out all right. His arm got mangled. So bad it was hanging on by one little muscle. He got out of the accident, he looked at his arm. He said, damn. So I better see a doctor about this. So he rushes over to the doctor's office, he shows him the arm, and he asks the doctor what could be done. The doctor said, fellow, all that I suggest would be to cut it off. And I said, I'm not going to let you cut my arm off. So I came here to get it fixed. So there must be another doctor in town who's had a little more experience with this type of thing. The doctor said, there is. Another guy on the other side of town. Go see him. So he jumps in a cab, he drives over the side of town, runs in the doctor's office, shows him the arm hanging on by the little muscle. He explains that the first doctor said they'd have to cut it off and ask his opinion. The doctor said, fellow, all that I could suggest would be to amputate. He said, well, that's better than cutting it off. The doctor said, no, that means the same thing. He said, look, I'll tell you what, he said, there's one guy, he's the world's greatest doctor, Dr. Freddy. Dr. Freddy. He has his office in Vienna. Why don't you go see Dr. Freddy? He said, Vienna? Yeah, that'd be nice. I said, I can go get my arm taken care of, and I can pick up a couple cases of them sausages. Said, I like them sausages. Said, them Vietnamese sure know how to make good sausages. So he buys to Vienna. He gets the appointment with Dr. Freddie. He walks in the office. Freddie's sitting there, got a scotch and water, a Ray Charles record on the box there. Freddie said, lay down on the table. And he laid down on the table and he explained to Freddie, but the other two doctors said they'd have to cut it off. Freddie said, well, just a minute, I'll check it out. You came to the greatest. I'm the one who knows what's going on. I'm the doctor. You just relax and keep that arm from falling on the floor. He goes over and gets a giant medical volume down. He's reading it. He said, Said, yeah. Said, that's what the book says. Said, And he gets his microscope. He looks at his little muscle. Said, damn. Then he turns to the guy and he says, you don't mind if I turn that record over to you? Turns the record over. Said, yep. Said, fella, so we don't have to cut that off. And the fella said, no. Said, hell no. 10 minutes, that's gonna fall off by itself. I'm gonna go say hello to my nephew upstairs. I got a nephew upstairs. Say hello to him. Put the little holiday greetings in there too, you know. Last night I spelled his name wrong. One of the customers said, you spelled his name wrong. It's all light up. You know, I've been having headaches lately. You know where that comes from? Every now and then I regress. When I was a kid, I used to love the tra-la. Remember how when you were a kid, everybody used to tra-la when they were a kid? Tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la. I just love the tra-la. All the neighbors used to say, see that kid? He sure knows how to tra-la. A long time ago, there was a little boy. And, well, let me tell you why I do this story. The way the entire situation came about. A couple of days ago, I went out to one of the schools in the poverty area to talk to the kids. And my reason for going was the teacher had asked me. That's why, a personal invitation. When she rolled over that morning and said, she said, why don't you come talk to the kids? How can I tell her that? So I go out and I'm sitting there and the kids, you know. And one little kid asked, so Miss Wilson, is America the land of opportunity for a spade? I said, damn, I can't let this kid lose his faith in America. So I told him the story of another kid, a long time ago. This little kid, living with his mother and father. That was cool. The kid wasn't working anyway. His parents were leaving the yard, and they noticed he's doing a lot of weird things around the yard. So he took him into the doctors. The doctors checked his head, shining a little light in his ear. The doctor said, damn, he's almost off his cookie. This kid's damn near gone. They're going to take brain surgery to save this kid. But he's too young to operate right now. We better wait a few years. And they waited. And while the years went by, the kid went further and further out. Further and further out. Further and further out. Bye, kid. Further and further out. Finally, his parents rushed him into the specialist. The specialist shined the light in his ear. Said, so he gone now, yo. So we'll probably never catch up with him. So they rushed him into the hospital. And they're operating. They flew in leading brain surgeons from around the world. They're operating on his head. And taking things out, dropping them all on the floor. 5 hours they operate. Then the bell rang. Coffee bell. Time for the doctors to go to coffee. One doctor said, man, it's time to go to coffee. The doctor said, I'm not gonna, How are we gonna go to coffee when I finish with the guy? The doctor said, damn if I'm missing coffee. You've been here 5 hours, Jack. You can go to coffee. He's not going any place. So they went to coffee. He was gone about 15 minutes. And they came back to the operating room and looked. The patient was gone. They sent out bulletins all around the hospital, all around the state. They didn't find the guy. That's what convinced me that America's a land of opportunity. That escaped mental patient went on to become the governor of Alabama. Well. I'm gonna smoke. That's what I'll do. I smoke. You know? Yeah, that's it. So I'll just light up here. Feel it growing down there. Yeah. I'm not afraid of dying of cancer. You know that? You know the article. You die from cancer. We don't want people to die. And the hell with it. I don't give a damn. You know that? I'd rather die from cancer than die in an airplane crash.
All right.
You know? Airplane crash. Boom. It's all over. Cancer, you can lay around and watch that solve it. Get some of them specials that they got on television. See some of those Peanuts shows. You know that? Get in 3 or 4 of them Peanuts, everything's all right. That's better than dying from nothing. You know? That's better than just somebody saying, Harry, Flip died. Say, yeah, what did he die from? Nothing. He didn't die from nothing. No reason at all. You know? I have a reason for dying. Like there's a reason for me standing here dying. I'm not dying for nothing. Getting paid to die. I'm doing my job right now. I'm doing a hell of a job, too. I think they want to throw some dirt on me. They say, well, he's there, better kick some dirt in there. There's a broad in here last night. Ugliest broad in the world. And I had been talking about ugly people, and she felt flattered. You know? Felt like somebody was paying a little attention to her. And I asked her what made her think that she was telling me she was the ugliest broad in Chicago. You know? And she was telling me that there had been a contest, and all of the girls had to write what particular situation might have occurred that made them feel that they were the ugliest broad in town. And she won on the basis of having written about the time that a peeping Tom looked in her window and closed his eyes. Yeah. Peeping Tom named Harry. He just used Tom because he wanted to maintain his reputation there in the club. Good night, girls. It's gonna be all right. Yeah, well, I understand. No sweat. No sweat. If I thought you were going outside to wait for me, I'd leave too. If I thought you were going, if I could flatter myself to that extent. Good night, princess. I'd fight a dragon for you, mama. I'd kick a dragon's ass for her. And I'd kick her and the dragon's ass for a girlfriend. It's getting close to time to be off soon. I always become a little bit nervous near finish time. So much danger in going home at night. When you're going down dark streets half smashed. I had an experience about a month ago. I'm on the way home from work. I'm going down a dark street. No lights on the street. That's why it was dark. There's an alley leading into the street. No lights in the alley either. If there aren't any lights in the street, they're not going to put lights in the alley. Shouldn't have to explain that. I said the street was dark. As I'm passing the alley, I heard a sound like say to myself, there's a snake there. I look and there's two bandits hiding in the alley. One of them has a baseball bat. The guy that has the bat says, stick him up. Let me show you how fast my mind works. The moment he said that, a voice in the back of my mind says, this guy's gonna rob you. Right away, I know he's an amateur because professional bandits use guns. Professional bandit carries a gun. That way, if he's robbing someone and the police comes, he can put the gun in his pocket and run. How the hell are you gonna run with a bat in your pocket? Well, I say to myself, I'll talk him lies. He knows what the hell he's doing. All I have to do is drop a short, heavy story on him. You gotta go for it. You gotta come on strong, I know this. So I say to the guy, I said, do you know who I am? He said, damn right, you're the fellow who's gonna get hit with a bat and robbed. I said, I better change my approach. Well, this guy know what he's doing. Well, he done this before. So I said, now fella, I'm not gonna stand here and let you hit me with a bat. He said, don't get upset. I said, don't get upset because you're being robbed. I said, everybody gets robbed. I said, it's your turn. I said, some people get robbed with a car note, some people get robbed with a house mortgage, you're getting robbed with a bat. I said, don't try to get away from it. He said, take a moment to consider that if you try to make any evasive tactic like ducking, the great psychological pressure you'll be putting yourself under if you make me miss the first time. I said, yeah, that's right, too. So this ain't one of them dumbass bandits. So I said, now look, fella, I said, the cops will get you. I said, because I got a very good memory, and I'll give the police a complete description, and they'll get you and your buddy. He said, if you got anything you want to tell the police, you better write it down before I hit you with the bat. That's when I started to cry. And the guy said, get up. So I'll speak to my buddy and see if he wants to give you a break. He goes over, he talks with his partner, he comes back, he says, look, my buddy and I have discussed it and we decided we're not going to rob you, but we're still going to hit you with the bat. I'm going to do that now, honey. I wouldn't leave without paying respects to the guy who made all of this possible. Let's go find Ray Charles. He's on that boat.